Most people live their entire lives without ever realizing they are a single thought away from everything they have ever wanted. A thought away from success, peace, fulfillment, and yes, from wealth. They spend their entire lives feeling separated from abundance, as if there were an invisible barrier between them and their dream. And they strive. They work harder, save more, seek new skills. They try to break down this barrier with the sweat of their brow, the brute force of their body, and the intelligence of their brain. But what they don't understand is that the barrier isn't on the outside. The barrier is the very way they think. The only thing separating you from wealth is not money, not time, not opportunity. It's your own mind. That minefield of ingrained beliefs, ancient fears, and whispered doubts that say, you're not good enough, you don't deserve this. Think of the greatest geniuses in history. Thomas Edison, with over 1,000 patents. He didn't invent the light bulb because he had a factory to produce it. He invented it because he refused to accept that it wasn't possible. He failed 10,000 times, but each failure was just one step in a process. For him, failure didn't exist. Only learning existed. The barrier wasn't in the materials, physics, or engineering. The barrier was in others' belief that it was a lost cause. The only thing separating him from light was the belief that darkness was permanent, and he destroyed that belief, not with his hands, but with his mind. He didn't feel separated from the solution. He felt connected to it. The same applies to wealth. Most people feel separated from it. They see wealth as something that happens to others, something that requires luck, privilege, or a stroke of genius. They don't see it as a natural extension of who they are, of who they can become, and that's why they remain separated. Because the only thing that separates you from any result is your belief in the possibility of that result. It's not about how smart you are, where you came from, or how much money you have in the bank right now. True wealth is within you, and what stands between you and it is only your own mindset, a mindset of scarcity that was programmed into you from childhood. Society teaches us to think in a linear way, a way that clings to safety and the bare minimum. You study, get good grades, get a good job, work for someone, save money, and retire. It's a life cycle based on fear and security, not on freedom. This mindset of living within my means is, in fact, a mindset of living within my limitation. You accept the limitations that society imposes on you, that your family imposes on you, and that you ultimately impose on yourself. And wealth, success, freedom, they live in a place where there are no limitations. They live in the vast and unlimited field of your own mind. The only thing that separates you from being a billionaire is not the lack of billion. It's your inability to think in terms of billion. The only thing that separates you from a life of purpose and fulfillment is not the lack of purpose and fulfillment. It's your fear of letting go of fear and your cowardice in diving headfirst into who you truly are. You've been conditioned to seek security instead of opportunity, to fear loss instead of embracing gain. You have learned to settle for crumbs, for enough, instead of reaching for the entire table. And the only way to break that barrier is not through a financial investment or a new skill. It is an investment in your own mind. What most people don't understand is that the Bible is not just a book of faith. It is a manual for life and the mind. Think of Mark 11:24. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. Most people read this and think of a miracle, of God intervening. But what if it's a universal law? What if it's not about God changing things for you, but about God giving you the power to change things for yourself? The word believe is the key. It doesn't say ask and hope. It says ask and believe that you have received it. It's about having such absolute certainty, such unwavering faith that you already live as if what you asked for is already a reality. This is the only thing that separates you from wealth. It's not your ability to work hard, but your ability to believe. You can have the best business plan in the world, but if deep down in your heart you don't believe you deserve success, it will never come. You can spend years visualizing and affirming, but if you don't feel the reality of what you're visualizing, it's nothing more than an empty dream. Belief is the feeling. What do you feel about yourself? What do you feel about your potential? What do you feel about your ability to make money? Andrew Carnegie, the steel giant who became one of the richest men in history, once said that the man who acquires the ability to take complete possession of his own mind may take possession of anything to which he is justly entitled. He didn't say the man who works the hardest or the luckiest man. He said the man who acquires the mastery of his own mind. This is what separates the millionaire from the mediocre. It's not the bank account. It's the absolute control of your own thoughts. Most people allow their thoughts to be controlled by external forces, the media, the news, the opinions of others. They live in a mental prison of reactivity instead of living in a state of creation. They wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is grab their phone and absorb the world's problems, the world's fear, the world's negativity, and then they wonder why they can't find peace or prosperity. It's because they are feeding the monster. They are allowing the only thing that separates them from wealth, their own mind, to be invaded by forces that do not serve them. And the solution isn't to isolate yourself from the world. The solution is to build a shield, a fortress within yourself, a belief system so strong, so unwavering, mind, that nothing from the outside can shake it. This is true wealth, the wealth of the mind. Because once you have the wealth of the mind, financial wealth is just a result. It's a natural byproduct of someone who operates from a place of abundance, belief, and purpose. A person who knows that the universe conspires in their favor. Your vision is your destiny, and the only thing that separates your vision from your reality is your ability to have clarity. Most people say they want to be rich, but if you ask them what that truly means, they can't describe it in detail. They say, I want to have more money, but they don't know how much, for what, or why. Their vision is a fog, a blurred outline, and a fog can never become a reality.
Walt Disney didn't want a place for kids to have fun. He had the vision of a place called Disneyland. He drew it. He described it. He knew where every attraction would be, even when all that existed was an orange grove. His vision was so crystal clear, so alive, that it became a beacon for everyone who worked with him. A clear vision becomes a magnetism. It attracts the right people, the right resources, the right opportunity. The only thing that separated that orange grove from becoming the happiest place on earth was the unwavering clarity of his vision. Now think about your own life. Are you operating based on a plan or a vague wish? Do you have a crystal clear vision of your future, or are you just waiting for things to happen? Clarity is the first step to success. You need to know what you want in precise detail, to the point where you can feel what it would be like to live that reality. You need to have this vision so alive in your mind that your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is imagination. And when your subconscious mind accepts this new reality, it begins to work for you day and night, moving mountains and opening doors for that reality to manifest in your life. This is the difference between a person who wants and a person who creates. The person who wants is waiting for a stroke of luck. The person who creates has the clarity of their vision. They know exactly where they are going and therefore cannot get lost. They have a purpose, and purpose is the driving force that will carry you through obstacles, failures, and disappointments. Because when you have a purpose, failures are not the end of the line. They are just a detour, a learning opportunity. Most people fail because they give up too early. They run into a difficulty and see it as a sign that it wasn't meant to be. But Henry Ford didn't give up when his first cars failed. He took them apart, learned from the mistakes, and built a better one. His purpose wasn't to make cars. His purpose was to democratize transportation, to put an affordable car in every family's garage. When the purpose is bigger than the obstacle becomes irrelevant. So what is your purpose? What drives you to get out of bed in the morning? It can't just be money. Money is a byproduct. It is a tool to help you fulfill your purpose. If your purpose is just to have more money, it will become an empty motivation and you will grow tired of it. But if your purpose is to use money to create something, to help someone, to build a better life for yourself and for others, then you will have a purpose so great that your mind and the universe will conspire in your favor. And the only thing that separates you from achieving it is your clarity of purpose. Discipline is the bridge between the dream and the realization. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the deepest act of self-love you can perform. It is telling yourself, I am so worthy of my future that I am willing to do the work required now. Most people associate discipline with pain, but the lack of discipline leads to a much greater pain in the long run. The pain of regret, of unfulfilled potential, of what if. The only thing that separates you from wealth is not money. It's your lack of discipline to focus on your purpose and execute your plan. Think about your day. What do you do with your first hour? Do you scroll through social media, watch negative news, answer trivial emails, or do you use those sacred hours to nourish your mind, to work on your purpose, to visualize it and feel it as a reality? The way you spend your morning is a mirror of who you will become in the future. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win the day, you win life. What is discipline after all? It's the ability to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, even if you don't feel like it. It's not about motivation. Motivation is inconsistent. It comes and goes. But discipline is the muscle. You build it with repetition. Day after day, you get up, you move, you work, you study, you visualize, and you act. You don't wait for inspiration to arrive. You become the inspiration itself. You create inspiration through your actions. Think of an Olympic athlete. The gold medal isn't the result of a single day of competition. It's the result of years of discipline, years of training when they didn't want to, years of giving up parties to go to the gym, years of eating what is right for the body and not what is pleasurable. They don't feel separated from the gold medal. They feel connected to it because they know that every drop of sweat is a step in its direction. Most people want the medal, but they don't want the work. They want the wealth, but they don't want the discipline. And that's why most never achieve it. They hope that wealth will just appear, but it doesn't appear. You create it. You attract it with your discipline, with your dedication, with your ability to focus on your purpose and act on it. Action is the fuel that turns your vision into reality. The clarity of your vision is nothing without action. The belief in your mind is nothing without action. Discipline is what leads you to action. The only thing that separates you from wealth, from fulfillment, and from the life you've always dreamed of is your reluctance to act. It's your fear of taking the first step. It's your perfectionism that keeps you paralyzed. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. It's a myth. The perfect moment is now. It's the moment you decide that your future is more important than your fear. It's the moment you decide that your potential is greater than your insecurity. Success loves speed, and action is the only thing that gets you to speed. Gratitude is the catalyst for abundance. Most people seek wealth to be happy, but the most successful among us know that happiness is the door to wealth. Gratitude is what keeps you happy, even when things aren't going the way you plan. It is the only thing that separates you from wealth. It's your inability to be grateful for what you already have while working for what you want. When you live in a state of gratitude, you are operating at a level of abundance. You are telling the universe, I already have enough. I am already enough, and I am ready for more. Gratitude is not about being complacent. It's about being grateful for the foundation you've built and using that gratitude as a stepping stone to the next level. Most people live in a state of lack. They focus on what they don't have, what's missing, what went wrong. They think, I'll be grateful when I have more money. I'll be happy when I have my dream job. And that's why they never get there. They're waiting for success to arrive so they can be grateful. But gratitude is what brings success. It's a cycle. Think of a child who gets a new toy. They don't focus on what they don't have. They are completely absorbed in what they do have. They are filled with joy and gratitude. And it is this joy and gratitude that makes them want to play and explore more.
It's the same with life. When you feel grateful for what you have, you will naturally feel more motivated to work towards what you want. Adaptability and resilience are the cornerstones of lasting success. Life is unpredictable. The market changes, economies fluctuate, circumstances shift. What separates you from wealth is not what happens to you, but how you react to what happens to you. Success is not about avoiding failure. It's about your ability to recover from failure. Abraham Lincoln, one of the greatest leaders the United States has ever had, failed at everything he tried before becoming president. He went bankrupt twice, lost elections for the legislature, Congress, and Senate, and suffered a nervous breakdown. The only thing that separated him from greatness was his ability to get up and keep going, even when everyone else expected him to fall. Resilience is a muscle. You build it with practice. When you face a setback, you don't crumble. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger? How can I adapt to this new reality? Failure is not a prison sentence. It's a learning opportunity, and learning is what takes you to the next level. Learn to fail, but not to be a failure. Learn from mistakes, but don't be defined by them. The only thing that separates you from wealth is not failure, but your fear of it. Your fear of trying, of failing, and of trying again. Your fear of breaking the only thing you believe separates you from poverty, which is your false sense of security. What I have said today was not about money. It was about the mind. Money is just a physical representation of the value you create for the world. Money is just a byproduct. Wealth is the result of a rich mind, of a mind that operates at a level of abundance, belief, and purpose. A mind that knows that the only thing separating it from what it wants is itself. The only thing separating you from wealth is your belief that you cannot have it, your belief that you don't deserve it, your belief that you are not good enough for it. But the truth is, you were born rich. You were born with unlimited potential, with a unique purpose, and with the ability to create anything your mind can conceive. Your wealth is not on the outside, it is on the inside, and the only thing that stands between you and it is your own mind. So from today, stop seeking wealth outside of yourself. Stop waiting for a stroke of luck, for an opportunity, for a savior. Look within. Find the wealth that is already there. Find the belief that is already there. Find the purpose that is already there. And when you find it, you will realize that the barrier you thought was separating you from wealth wasn't a barrier, but a mirror. And the only thing you need to do is look at it and say, I am already wealthy. And now it's time to act like it.